This video is sponsored by Huawei. Foldables are great to try and get a little bit more from your phone. And if you've never used a foldable before, then the HUAWEI Mate X6 might be one that you need to take a look at. So come with me as I put it through its paces on a full day in London. One of the first things I tend to do every single morning is start planning video ideas and start going through my emails, and the HUAWEI Mate X6 makes this so easy because of its multitasking. You're able to have multiple windows open on its 7.9-inch display, and you can also have windows open side by side. And I have found this really useful when I'm researching ideas for videos because I can have my browser open on one window and then have my documents open on another, so I can copy and paste ideas from one window to another without having to close and open apps. And because of its multitasking, the HUAWEI Mate X6 is a powerhouse for productivity. And this becomes even better when you start to use 3 apps running in parallel with the stereoscopic multi-window multitasking. I can have my browser open to look for activities and buy tickets, and then I can have my maps open to see how far away that activity is, all on one screen. I can then have my notes open at the same time as the other 2 apps, so I can start planning my day so I know where to go. And having all these apps open at the same time really does mean that the HUAWEI Mate X6 is fantastic for multitasking, and it just becomes really easy. It also has this neat little swipe gesture that you can get to some of your favorite apps from the side nice and quickly. And that screen is bright enough outdoors so I can carry that multitasking on wherever I am. One of my favorite parts of the whole phone though is its 6.45-inch cover display. And I love this because it means that when you can't unfold that phone fully, you can still use this as a regular phone, and it feels great in the hand. It has a slight curve to the display, so it feels incredibly comfortable when you have it in your hand. And it also has that second-gen culling glass, so it makes it even more scratch resistant than any phones that have come before it. So this means that I know it is safe every time I put it into my pocket. There is something that makes this foldable stand out though against any other foldable that you can get, and it's its cameras. This is a foldable that has no compromises when it comes to its cameras because they are flagship spec cameras, whereas other foldables do not have that, and the pictures that this phone can take are absolutely stunning. First off, it has a quad camera setup, and within that, it also has an ultra chroma sensor with a 1.5 megapixel channel for enhanced color accuracy. And then you pair that with its 50 megapixel main, its 48 megapixel telephoto macro camera, and its 40 megapixel ultra wide. And the photos that you can capture on this Mate X6 look absolutely unreal. The ultra chroma camera sensor really does make these photos look real to life. So every photo that I capture is exactly what my eyes were seeing at the time, and you can't say that for a lot of other phone cameras out there, but the HUAWEI Mate X6 does a fantastic job of this. The colors even stay the same when you switch between those 3 lenses, and that for me is a plus, and it is impressive. The main camera also has a variable aperture that goes up to f4, and what this means is that in low light situations, you can control how much light actually is going into that sensor, so it means you have more control. As well as having more control in low light situations, you can also change the amount of bokeh that your background has, which is a really nice bonus of that variable aperture. There's also a few color modes that you can pick between in the camera app. The color tones that you can pick from are original, vivid, and bright, and I think this really does cover all bases, and I prefer original as the color tone, but I'll be honest, these all look great. All 3 of these lenses do a great job of capturing details in photos that might be on cloudy days, bright sunlight, or in low light, and I have to say that the shadows and the highlights here do look fantastic. Also, let's not forget, as this is a foldable without compromise, you can take your selfies on that main camera lens, so you can get some really good detail here. One of my favorite parts of the camera is the telephoto macro, which you can achieve from 5 centimeters away. This means you can get incredibly close to the subject and capture some great detail on the Mate X6 cameras and see things in details that you may never have seen before. And if you wanted to know my honest opinion about the cameras on the HUAWEI Mate X6, I'd have to tell you that I think these are the best cameras you can get on a foldable right now. We should talk video as well, because the video on the Mate X6 is also fantastic, especially when you consider that this is a foldable phone. The colors are incredibly accurate, and the 4K 60 frames per second that this phone can shoot has some fantastic detail. The stabilization works flawlessly, and the low light performance of the video is one of the best that I have seen in a long time, no matter what lens you decide to use, whether it's the main, the ultra wide, or the 4x telephoto. The whole build quality of the HUAWEI Mate X6 just feels premium, and it is probably one of the best feeling foldables that I've used in a very long time. Every aspect of this phone feels premium, and that might be from that faux vegan leather that is on the back, which does feel great, the glossy side rails, or the main camera housing. I just think it looks fantastic. What does stand the HUAWEI Mate X6 out against any other foldable that I've used though is its hinge, and it's actually 27% stronger than any hinge that has been on a HUAWEI Mate X phone before. And trust me, this hinge really does feel great. When you open and close the phone, you can tell that that hinge is one of the best out there, and you can position this phone at multiple angles where you can take selfies or use it to watch content, and I found this really useful on multiple occasions, especially when traveling. One of the biggest concerns for me when it comes to foldable phones is battery, and will it last all day? Well, you won't be surprised to hear that the HUAWEI Mate X6, it can last all day. I've been using this phone for a couple of weeks now, and I get to the end of the day comfortably with this phone, and that's with a combination of using the cover display and that folded display. If you were to run out of battery though, this also has fast 66-watt charging, which I've not really needed, but what I like is I know it is there, especially if you need to charge in a pinch. This is genuinely one of my favorite foldables that I've ever used, and even though HUAWEI did sponsor this video, you can't help but sit back and just admire how much work and effort they've put into this, and it really does stand out. There are some seriously good cameras, easy to use and useful multitasking. It's IPX8 resistant and durable, and at the same time, it's thin enough when it's folded to just use this as a regular slab style phone. If you get a chance to check out this phone, then you absolutely should, and this is exactly what all foldables should be like, and HUAWEI with the Mate X6 have absolutely nailed it.